Good morning, Facebook. Marquise Martin Hayes, your host, practicing patience during this time. Welcome to Thriving Thursdays. Listen, I am so excited about this week. I don't know how many of you had a chance to check out last week's Thriving Thursday, but it was a great session. I've got another surprise for you coming up later. We had to pre-record it, but right now we're getting ready to jump into one of my favorite people on the planet, C.Milano Harden. He's an amazing mini mogul, as I like to call him, but he's probably a lot more than that, to be honest. I know him from the fashion industry. I've learned about him through the business industry. He teaches at all the top universities, tier 1 universities, and he's making things happen not only in this nation, but around the world. And so today, he's going to join us. He's going to share tips and things that he believes can make a radical refresh for us during Thriving Thursday. So without further delay, let's bring in one of my mentors and big brothers, Milano.
Hey, man, what's happening?
Man, things are great. Things are great. So glad to have you here.
It's great to be here. Can you see me?
We can see you great, man. Yeah, you look fantastic. Everything's well. How you doing?
Thank you for having me on Thriving Thursday. I've been really looking forward to this.
Well, you know, a lot of our private conversations are how to thrive, right? We talk about some of the challenges that we face in life. And when we get on the phone, it's like, okay, so how do we work through that? And how's God moving in this and that? And then what's the move and the angle we need to make? And during a time like this, I think it's phenomenal that we can bring it to others, those conversations, and empower them. And I love that you're so methodical and so thought-provoking that what we're going to share today will be unlike what I have so far. As a matter of fact, those of you watching, we're going to share some content at the end so you can go back and implement all the wonderful strategies you're about to learn. But I'm also honored to have you, man. So thank you.
You're welcome. I love the invitation because I had been thinking about, so you all, just a little bit about myself to give us, give who I am. So Milano Harden, I'm actually based here in the Metro Atlanta. I'm an organizational behaviorist by training. So I actually spent time in graduate school looking at the behavior of leaders in organizations. And I've applied my craft to the nonprofit sector and really looked in kind of what we call the business of doing good. Who are the people who are in sort of the social sector, really trying to make change, trying to make a difference, trying to be in that space, in those spaces where we need strong leadership because for whatever the reason, society and society structures aren't working well for everybody.
Correct.
And so it feels like Marquise, your interest in helping us thrive kind of coincides with a kind of a like planetary moment that we're having.
Yes.
So it just feels great to be here. I'm excited to talk about the radical refresh.
Good. I'm excited too, man. It's for those of you who are just joining us and you're not familiar with what I've been doing. I've been trying to take not only the things I've learned through life that have helped me maintain what I call the proper perspective and how to work things out and find the silver lining in any scenario, but I have friends and mentors and people who've contributed to me. And Milano is one of those people. And he's academia, he's spiritual, he's all that. And he brings a completely different, unique angle. And so you guys are in for a treat. And with that in mind, take over, bro. Take over.
All right, y'all. So welcome. So my 17-year-old son, Zach, has kind of, and I don't know if he got this from social media, but he immediately, in the kind of creativity that only young folks have, renamed the novel coronavirus, the COVID-19. He called it the Rona.
Yes, I've heard it. The Rona. The Rona. They got a nickname for it.
He's called it the Rona. So what I wanted to kind of talk about is how the Rona has created an opportunity for us to actually have something that we don't always have, which is time. And it's given us a particular kind of time. And it has also made us really present to the fact. So one of the things that I like to look at are issues of inequality and inequity. And so I do think that the way that this particular disease process affects disproportionately affects people of color has sort of shined a stark light on a lack of resilience within our systems to actually serve us.
Yes.
All of us.
Yes, all of us, which is
in particular to serve people of color. So there's now a need for us to understand how can we exercise a sense of agency and control over our own experience in a time where there's so much uncertainty.
yes.
And I think the word resilience. So when you look in my PowerPoint, I prepared a PowerPoint to support this conversation that we're going to have. It'll be interactive, lots of questions and answers. I want to just start off, though, with a couple of definitions. So I'm kind of calling this conversation a radical refresh, resilience, and reflective practice. And the way I'm thinking about it is, think about this as a conversation that has three movements and three metaphors.
Okay.
We're going to talk about how do you study yourself and get your bearings in the midst of such tremendous uncertainty.
Yeah.
So the first movement is up. You got to go up. And the metaphor that I want to use, and Marquise, you jump in, but the metaphor that I want to use is the notion of the balcony.
Yeah.
And in my leadership work, so there's a thinker at Harvard called his name's Ron Heifetz, and he wrote a really important book called Leadership Without Easy Answers. In the book, he inaugurates this metaphor of the balcony and the dance floor. He also had a co-writer, Martin Lipsky. And this metaphor is also used in another book that they wrote on adaptive leadership. So the notion of the dance floor, which all of us were in, and it's work, it's play, it's movement, it's the notion that it's the moments in your life where you are moving, and the responsibility for you in terms of your self-leadership is actually to act. It's to move. It's to keep things going.
Yes.
But, my grandmama says that too much of one thing is not enough of something else. And a lot of times what happens is we are moving so much that we don't pause and get on the balcony of our own lives. So what is the balcony? The balcony is that place of reflection. So for my 50th birthday, my wife took me to the Fabulous Fox to see Hamilton.
Yes.
And we sat in the balcony.
Yeah.
And I've been using this metaphor in my leadership work for like a long time. But dude, like when you're literally in the balcony, not only can you see the stage, the actors, you actually see behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's just a broader view.
Yeah.
So the first kind of step in this movement towards resilience is taking control of your ability to go up in your own life.
It's good. It's good. I remember this. It's reminding me of the idea of, and I heard this, I think for the first time, really, about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Wow.
And going to the balcony is our opportunity to do that. To on the floor, all these things are happening. But as you're saying in the balcony, it's like, hold on, what's going on? I need to go up and find out what's happening. And I know you have, because I know you, I know there's more to the up. And I'm going to let that come on out. But yeah, it reminds me of that idea. All this is happening, but there's a level of responsibility that is now mine.
Yeah. So, I'm going to do something for you all. I'm going to share my screen.
Go for it.
Because I want y'all to be able to see this. I'm going to go to presenters view. Okay. I'm going to share my screen and see, because I want y'all to be able to appreciate that this notion of going to the balcony or going up, the first metaphor, what I'm really trying to convey is that there are two modes of our ability to sort of self-manage or self-lead ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And one is being responsible. Hold on, I'm trying to find.
Yeah.
Being responsible. Here we go. I'll share my screen.
If you didn't get it, let me know. I'll figure it out on this end otherwise.
I think I got it.
Excellent.
Here we go. Yep. Can you see it?
Yes. I'm going to add it to the stream. And there it is. We're in. All right.
Two modes. There's two modes of leadership. There's reflective practice, which I'm sort of saying is the balcony. And it's in that place where you can take perspective on what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times on the dance floor, we're making bold, thoughtful decisions, but it's actually in the balcony where we can pause a little bit and start shaping those decisions.
Okay.
We can collect data. We can collect impressions. We can do what you and I do, Mark, which is I'll get on the phone with you and we'll just hash it out.
Yep.
The other thing is another tool for reflection, whether you use a journal, whether you use a conversation partner, whether you use a mentor to help you access that reflective mind, is you can also start seeing patterns.
Okay.
You can start to see where, I keep coming back to this.
Yeah.
Life keeps like ringing this bell for me, right?
Yeah.
So what's my point here is that you gotta go up. And while I'm on the screen, I'm going to take us to the next one, which is the next sort of direction and metaphor is also learning to go back. I think for me, the metaphor that I like to use is this the Ghanaian Sankofa bird.
Yes.
That sort of flies forward by looking back.
Mm-hmm.
And
break
if you
that down, because everybody doesn't understand that.
Well, it's here on the slide, but I'm
Okay.
gonna let me share it. Can y'all see it?
Yeah, they can see it. We're off the screen, only the slide's up right now.
Okay, so the notion of the second direction is going back, which is sometimes we got to go back to save ourselves.
Yeah.
And like, so if you look at the word Sankofa, which comes from the Ghanaian Twi language, the translation means to go back and fetch what you forgot. So I have, in this whole notion of going back, there's two actions that I think are important. Sometimes we have to go back and fetch dreams and visions and ideas that never got implemented.
Yes.
And the other thing is sometimes we have to go back in order to find what we need to forgive and forget.
Come on, man.
So letting go of hurts and upsets and and faults and maybe fault finding. So I'm going to come back to the screen. Let me come back to you.
We're here.
Great.
It's good.
This I want to make, this is more personal. I think for me, what COVID has helped me, I've been looking at my journal and what I've been writing about.
Yeah.
I just feel like for me, this is such an opportunity for the letting go. I feel like I want to come out of quarantine. Like I want to come out of this time freer and lighter and, like not holding on to anybody or anything that's not going to be useful for me kind of to move ahead. So the second kind of dimension is being able not just to go up to the balcony, but like that Sankofa bird, to be able to go back and fetch those old dreams, those ideas, or to forget, to kind of figure out what you need to let go.
Yeah, it's, what's interesting as I'm listening to you, and I'm not saying this is right, but how it's registering for me is I need to forgive first so I can see what it is I need to grab a hold of again.
That's nice.
Right? In order to have access to it. Right? Because otherwise, I probably would have been fulfilling some of those things, but I've let some hurt come in. I've let some pain come in, and those things have blocked me. So I've let go of what was important because I was looking back on some drama, some unforgiveness, some pain, and made that the focal point. So it's
And I
almost
think
like
that's on point. So there's a social psychologist at Harvard. Her name's Ann Cootie. She's really, I'd encourage folks to check out her TED Talks. She makes this really powerful acknowledgement that comes from social psychology, which is that we over remember the negative.
Yeah.
So to your point, when you're holding on to that negatively valenced emotion, the other part that's less perceptible is the way it actually distorts your perception of what's happening now.
Yes. Yes.
So that really resonates with me, that doing that work, maybe first to let go and to forgive, is a way to kind of clear your screen.
Yeah. I was talking with someone, and so I have this conversation a lot. It's almost like we are so entrenched in the story of what happened.
Yeah.
None of that stuff probably actually happened, but it's the version in which we perceive it to be reality that we have created, we've lived in, and we've built our sense of justice, right? Our right to be the way we are. We've put so much stock in that it's now become completely distorted. It's personal. It's all these other things. And we're then lost in it, like just gone.
Well, and I mean, so as humans, we're kind of meaning-making machines, right? So we use story to make meaning of our lives.
Yeah.
Like, right? I mean, like, so what is everybody doing on lockdown? We're all like streaming, Netflix content and Amazon, Prime content, other content, because stories are important. But I think the point here that you're helping me to see is the quality of story is only as good as the quality of the lens.
Yes.
If your lens is cloudy and dirty and, and it's trauma filled and pain filled, and I don't think there's never a perfect lens, but I think I think resilience. Yeah. And I'm going to talk about that next, but I think resilience is about both being able to go up, but it's also being able to go back. And so that second image, we call this conversation a radical refresh. I want to look at these words.
Yes.
So I'm actually going to put these words on the screen. I really enjoyed, hold on for a second. I'll get my screen.
Problem.
So I really enjoyed looking at these words. I feel like they're words for our time. Am I sharing my screen?
Let's see. Your screen is blank right now. It's gray.
Okay, let me put it. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go to presenter screen. I hope that this is helping someone. I wanted to look at these words.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is. Because sometimes thriving requires us unraveling what's actually going on in our world, so we have the opportunity to do so. So yeah, please continue.
So for our words, resilience. And I think these are words for our time. So resilience, the ability of an individual, an organization, or system to respond to change and adapt successfully. Sort of new and unforeseen circumstances. And here's the key, while staying true to your principles, your values, your vision.
It's good.
Right. So the notion of resilience holds like a two-sided coin. It's got an innovation novelty side.
Yes.
So you can respond to what is new and different, but it's also got a stability side.
Yes.
You can hold fast to what you've come to know to be true, right?
Yes.
Radical is a change or an action that affects the fundamental nature of something. Refresh is to give new strength or energy to reinvigorate, and then reflective practice, which I actually include a link here, it's actually the set of habits that you can build, a kind of a muscle for thinking about and reflecting on your behaviors, your actions, your motives, and your intentions.
Wow.
So when we take all of these words together, a radical refresh, resilience, and reflective practice, I just feel like there's a way in which this moment has given us this opportunity to strengthen our resilience.
Yes.
It came to us in a real crazy package.
Right.
I'm not, I'm not at all saying that it has not been horrible
Right.
to lose so many amazing people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that it's not sobering that we study ourselves
Yeah.
for the socioeconomic ripples that are going to happen even after the health part.
Mm-hmm.
But what I am saying is that I think in this quiet time where we're kind of on quarantine,
Yes.
we also have the ability to strengthen that muscle of
Yes.
reflection.
Yes.
So the our Jewish brothers and sisters talk about in the celebration of Passover,
Mm-hmm.
they eat sauerkraut and applesauce, and it's a way of acknowledging that in life we have the bitters and the sweets.
It's good.
Right.
It's
I feel
good.
like we're getting this opportunity to kind of to really study ourselves.
Yeah, we are. And I was talking to a friend earlier. It's so interesting because as a country, unquote, we've been sort of protected, right? Like we haven't seen a lot of trauma as a nation collectively. Whereas other parts of the world, trauma is just normal.
Right.
And so it really is an eye opener for us and shocking. Yet and still, there's the opportunity to be resilient.
Yeah, so I think about this a lot. I mean, I think the other storyline is that there's a lot of inequality and pain
Yeah, man.
and hardship that's like right outside our door.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, we are an incredibly blessed country, but I also think that maybe what this opportunity has done, as we all have to sit at home at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's also maybe like strengthened our sense of empathy.
Hopefully.
Hope, and our sense of
Hopefully.
like human, like we're all kind of in this together. And I also think it's really interesting with the social distancing because we're working on treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the notion of how we can flatten the curve and stop the spread has so much to do with what we do on behalf of each other by staying home.
On behalf of each other.
Right. So there's a way in which we're also getting to kind of revive that sort of lost sense of connection.
Yeah. It's there. And when it's not happening, I think because I've not known really how to respond to those that I get the economy is impacted. Like I don't pretend, right? That impacts me too.
Yo.
But the idea that we are needing to reawaken to the reality that we're here collectively. We actually need one another. Like I need to be able to really process that I'm not 46, healthy, or whatever it is, and that's enough. That I need to remember that there are those who are not. And for me, my wellness angle, 70% of our country is overweight or obese, which means we're already in a state of illness. I don't want to cause more than what's necessary for someone else. It's that awareness of that and how it can spark others. I might be fine, but the necessity from a community perspective, yeah, hopefully we will reawaken to that. Hopefully that'll begin to open up. It's been we've seen both sides of it, of course, but it's bigger than me.
Yeah,
bigger than me.
I wanted to share something on the kind of more the fun side or the lighter side, which is that. So I do think that this is an opportunity to go back. I do think that we can go within.
Yeah.
But I also don't think it's just about. I don't think it's just about what we need to let go. I also think it's what we need to hold on to.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, on the other side of this, I think, it's also an opportunity for like this self-nurture and self-care. And
Yeah.
rest, like literally sleeping.
I had no idea that 8 hours makes a tremendous, like, I mean, I knew it conceptually, but the idea that I can sleep 7, 8 hours is, I mean, I don't need a nap. Like, I'm
Wow.
like, this is nice. I can
Yeah.
actually get stuff done and not have to zonk out in the middle of the day. Yeah.
I'm not at the 8 hours yet. I know it's a goal.
Yeah.
I'm a 4 to 5 hours of sleep person since I've been in my 20s. I'm in my 50s now, so it is what it is on the sleep front. I try to do better. I do try to take naps.
No, listen, I get it. I'm usually 4 to 5, so I understand.
But what I've noticed for me is that one of the opportunities for self nurture has maybe I'm sleeping a little bit more.
Okay.
But the thing that has been a blessing is being able to slow my pace down.
Yes.
Like I'm reading more.
Yes.
I'm reading more books.
Yes.
I'm actually at work. I'm taking time to think through things more carefully.
Mm-hmm.
I notice that I'm editing documents better when I write, and I don't feel so rushed.
Yes.
And so for me, that's a sense of restfulness.
Yeah.
Let me hit this last direction because I want to be sensitive to time. So we talked about the importance of going up, and we talked about going to the balcony.
Yes.
We talked about also the opportunity to go back, and we talked about the Sankofa bird.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to know that in African ontology, because that comes out of a much more African-centered way of thinking. The idea comes from Africa.
Yeah.
Africans have a very different, I think, a much more sacred relationship with the past.
Okay.
It is much more connected. It is the notion that the past is not so much to be lived in, but it's to be built on in order to fly forward.
Understood.
I think in the US, because of the painful history of the Holocaust of slavery,
mm-hmm.
I often feel like we actually break from the past.
Yeah.
It's something we don't want to remember. It's something, right? It's almost as if it's something to forget.
Right. Yeah.
So I love the notion that there are times in our lives where we have to go back to save ourselves, where we actually have to go back and get those dreams.
Mm-hmm.
We have to go back and nurture ourselves. We have to go back and love ourselves.
Yes.
And then the last direction is forward.
Yeah.
It's forward. So the metaphor that I use for that is the rocket.
Okay.
And I wanted to share this this poem piece that I found that I love so much. I'm going to share my screen one last time.
Okay.
And you all will make these available to you.
We'll post.
I'm actually going to share two things. Before I go to forward, which is the wellness wheel.
Please do.
This is Thriving Thursday.
Yes.
What the wellness wheels will show you is all of these dimensions of yourself and your well-being that you can choose to attend to be more whole.
Okay.
So let me show this just real quickly. I'm going to share my screen again. Hold on. And again, I've tried to be good about giving you the source of these resources.
Yes.
So that you can you see the wellness wheel?
Yes, we're there.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna go to. I just want y'all to look at it just to get it in your eye view. I just love that we have the power when we go within to just pay attention to these different dimensions of ourselves: physical, social, intellectual, emotional.
Yes.
Because that's, life is about wholeness, the life well lived.
Mm-hmm.
It's about wholeness. So I just wanted to give you guys a view of that. And then I'll go to the next slide. The last direction is forward. And I use the rocket, and I want to share this poem. Come to the edge, we might fall. Come to the edge, it's too high. Come to the edge. And they came, and he pushed and they flew.
Hmm.
So this other piece of, and I think, brother, you talked about this, is sometimes we're telling ourselves a story
Yeah.
of what's possible for us.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so I was thinking about that this morning, like this notion of going forward.
Yeah.
Like, who says that on the other side of this experience for us that there aren't amazing things?
Right.
Right? Like, who
Right.
says?
Right.
So I know that it doesn't mean that there won't be challenges, but
Sure.
maybe this is like this incredible moment where we're going to rise to that challenge.
Yeah. Very much so. Yeah. For me, I remember one of my mentors growing up, Roosevelt Hunter. He's no longer with us, but he talked about reading the script. Right. So we're always given a script. It's always a script in front of us, and the question is, which one are we subscribing to? But what you're speaking of is the reality that we get to create our own script. We get to rewrite. We get to implement what we would like to see happen. That possibility versus assuming the script through media or impact that we've experienced personally, whatever that might look like. There's the opportunity that still remains that we get to write our script. I was just talking to a friend, and we were just breaking down probably 5 to 10 different things that I do and that I have access to in my own craft and being that can be capitalized upon by just getting out, like do it. She's like, do it all now. Like, just get it all out now. We all have that ability to create a possibility for ourselves. A future that, yeah.
No, I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, I'm only, I'm just in vehement agreement with what you said. I'm co-signing all of that.
Yeah.
I think it's an important message too. Like, what I hear and what you're saying is we all have agency, and we all have self-efficacy, and we can have our experiences as opposed to our experiences having us.
Come on, man. Come see, that's my stuff right there.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
That's yes. Say it again, please.
So we all have. So when I was in graduate school, I took this amazing adult development psychology class with Bob Keegan.
Okay.
And he's got this concept called self-authorship. That as adults, we're not just someone else's story. Like, so yes, we're our parents' dreams, and they put like, we're not just containers, right? We're not just vehicles for people to pour into us. Their desires. We're also actors. We're agents. Like, you get this because of your whole acting craft.
Yep.
Right. So life is a stage, and we get to go on that stage and act out our dreams, our visions.
Yes.
And to the degree that we're able to be clear about what we want and putting ourselves where we see ourselves.
Yes.
Then we retain that power to kind of play with the environment in a way to make that real for ourselves. I'm not of the persuasion to believe that there won't be inhibitors and that there won't be resistance.
Sure. Yes.
But I am of the belief that we are far more powerful than we believe, particularly when we're clear.
Yes. And when we're clear, it gives us the ability to navigate those inhibitors as they come, right? It's like we're the actor and the writer.
Nice.
But when we're clear about us, as the inhibitors come, it's like I've been telling a friend of mine, we can be like the duck that just rides the wave. The wave comes up, the wave goes down. That duck doesn't move. It's just like it's all good. But that only happens when we're clear. That duck is clear because it knows I float, period. Right. If we can somehow ascertain that level of self-awareness and understanding, we can thrive.
Radical refresh, brother.
Man, I appreciate you so much.
This was great, man. I really appreciate the opportunity to kind of chop it up with you. My commitment is that I've already shared my deck with you. I want you to push it out and share it with folks. And yeah, man, this is an amazing thing that you're doing. These Thriving Thursdays, brother.
Thank you, man. Listen, we got to figure out how to do it. And you've given us some keys and some practical strategies to help make it happen. So I am super grateful for your time.
Oh man, this is awesome. I love being with leaders. I love working with leaders. And if folks want to write me here at the Genius Group here in Atlanta, I will do my best to kind of be responsive. So this was wonderful.
Excellent. Tell them how they can find you, please.
Yeah. So two things. So I founded about 20 years ago a strategy firm that works with private foundations and nonprofits called the Genius Group. You can go to thegeniusgroup.com. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, social media. I also, I guess 8 years ago, founded a fashion company, a men's fashion company, which is called C.Milano Inc.com. So you can check us out there.
All that.
We've got some cool initiatives that are going to be happening on the other side of the Rona.
Yeah.
God willing. So really excited to just continue to stay in contact with your folks.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You're a true gift. Blessings to you, man.
Thank you. All right, everybody.
All right. All right, friends. So that was Thriving Thursday. You got my guy, C.Milano, one of the people that connect with me, mentor me, add value to my life, cause me to think deeper. I hope that today something was shared that will allow you to think deeper and create your own script for your life. And so that no matter what's happening around, you're able to navigate like the duck does on the water. Peace.